Okay, I'm back. Sorry, the dogs drove me nuts. They have to go potty, but you know, when you have to go potty, you have to go potty. So anyway, like I said, we're gonna use the bullshit spices, and you can get these if you go online and type spices. They're out of the Big Cock Ranch in Lexington, Texas. But their website is www.specialshit.com. But you can order the line of spices. And like I said, they are really, they're a very, very good line. Getting back to what I was saying. You don't want to put fresh garlic on beef ribs. And the reason you don't want to do that with the ribs is you don't have a lot of meat to work with. And what's going to happen, these are going to take quite a while to cook. They're going to take about 4 to 5 hours to smoke on the grill at a low temperature. We're going to do these low. We're going to do these at about 250 degrees. So they're going to go really low and really slow. But when you put fresh garlic on it, because you have such a long cook, what's going to happen is you're going to burn the garlic. So don't put fresh garlic on the ribs. You can if it's attached to an entire roast, because that's a different cooking method than what the ribs are. So anyway, I'm going to put you guys down. Hopefully you'll be able to see this, and I'm going to hopefully be able to move this somewhat up. No, that's not going to work. Let's see. Let me see if I get this out of here. Okay, I might move you up a little bit more. Or down. I'm going to put you down. There we go. Okay. That's pretty good. So, same principle as what we've been doing with the thing. What you're going to do is, first off, you're going to, well, I'll put that on the side because we don't need that. I'm going to actually get a second plate because these are such big ribs. I'm going to move one side. What you're basically going to do is you're going to, a little olive oil on both sides, and then we're going to use the rub. And again, like I said, I trimmed a little of the fat right here, and you can see how thick this fat is. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull a little bit more. This will lubricate your ribs while they're cooking and prevent them from drying up. But this had a big fat cap that served no real purpose. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to olive oil and rub. And you want to do this on both sides of your meat. Oop. Okay. And then you're just going to now, you can be more heavy-handed with your rub on this because you're not dealing so much with salt, so you can see how much I put on that side. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to olive oil the same thing. We're going to do this to both slabs. And we're just going to... Just gonna do that. And I'm gonna get rid of this fat. I gotta move you guys because you guys actually are on top of my garbage can. So that's one slab. Is everybody in? Everybody in? Did Colin come in? Is he downstairs? Here? Okay. All right, so we're going to do the same thing to this slab. We didn't do this slab yet. So, again, you're just going to literally pour a rub. Now, you can use, if you're using a rub, you can use any rub. Would you marinate a beef ribs? You can. I haven't heard of too many people marinating them. Pork ribs more so than beef ribs. And the reason is pork ribs can either A, cook a lot longer if you're going to do them really slow. Pork ribs have a tendency not to dry out as fast as beef ribs do, so you could marinate the ribs, but I have never done that. So, and then we're just gonna, again, we're gonna put our rub on. And again, I'm going to lift you up and show you that the second slab. Let me go. Anytime you work with olive oil and you're working with your hands, always make sure after, because your hands will look like this, they'll be greasy. Always give your hands a thorough wash. And then dry them off. So, okay, so now we're going to condense these. These can now stack on top of one another. Okay, if you are doing these on a grill, I don't have much experience with gas grills. Even though I owned one, I didn't really do ribs on them. What you're going to need is you're going to need a V-rack. And what is the V-rack? We actually used one for the prime rib roast, but I will show you what a V-rack is. And my dear husband had what I actually used. This is a V-rack. So we're going to, we may or may not use this one. I actually have one bigger, because I don't know if the beef ribs will fit in here, but this is what they call a V-rack, just because of its shape. Kind of makes a V, although I would call this a U-rack. But when you're doing ribs, these are a great thing to use on the grill, because if you see it, see where it dips. You would place your roast on this side in the drip pan, and this would be a roasting rack. But you can also turn it upside down, and this now becomes a V-rack, where you can stack your ribs in between so that they're standing vertically and cooking, and they're going to have an even cook. So these are not that expensive. I do have really good roasting racks that I solely only use in the oven, use on my All-Clad. But if you can get a couple of these, especially if you're a big griller, get a couple of cheap ones. You want to make sure that they're good quality metal, because if you're going to use them, they're going to get hot, cool down, get hot, cool down, get hot, cool down every time you use them. But they're wonderful. You can actually, like, this one does not go into my oven or my good pans. This one is solely for the grill, and I know it's solely for the grill. So they're a great thing to have. You can use them both for roasts. You can use them for ribs. Fish is different. You don't want your fish necessarily vertical. And later on, potentially, I'll do a video on fish. We're not big fish eaters. My husband, Bob, does not care for fish. He will eat a salmon if I make it. So maybe down the road we'll do a salmon video, but right now I don't have salmon to make. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these in the microwave. We're not going to forget about them. We're just going to let them rest. We're going to go set up the grill. Now, normally I would take you out with me, but again, like I said, I don't know if you can see this. It is snowing out there. I don't know if my camera will catch it, and it probably won't, just because it's a sunny day. But what we're going to do is we're going to set the grill. We're going to get the grill going. I'm going to add some smoking chips. Now, with the prime rib roast, I did both pecan and apple. This time, I'm only going to use the apple. I'm not going to use any pecan because I don't want to overpower the ribs with the smoke, and the apple will just give enough of a smoky flavor without overpowering the meat. But you can, if you want it heavier, you could use hickory, you could use cherry wood. Apple is nice. Pecan is definitely nice. You can use oak. I would tend to stay away from the mesquite, and the only reason I would stay away from mesquite is you would really, really overpower the ribs with the mesquite. But if that's your preference, you can use mesquite wood. It's all about preferences. And if you're not that familiar with wood, with smoking of wood, of different flavor woods, stay tuned. I'm going to teach you all about that.